EV Café News.
Yes, Sir Rooney, it's Friday! Welcome to the News and Views with the EV Café, 30 minutes of mayhem, chatting about sustainable transport with analysis from the quite wonderful EV Café crew, wonderfully supported by Drax Electric Vehicles, because they're doing the EV business, you know. Now then, we've got a full team here, apart from Johnny, who's busy at the coalface. Oh no, not the coalface. He's busy anyway, doing his thing. So let's say good morning to Pablo. How are you, my friend?
I am good, although I'm very annoyed with LinkedIn. I'm going to have to write a sternly worded letter, I think, but because it's misbehaving far too regularly for my liking. But anyway, there we go. Such is life. I am very happy. It's been a busy week, and it's good to have Friday in the office to get stuff done.
He's so old. I'm going to write a letter. What even is that?
Sternly worded letter. I'm telling you now. Sternly.
Oh, he's on it today, people. Now then, his adversary in most things is Sam. How are you this morning, Sam?
Very well, thank you. I mean, LinkedIn must be quaking in its boots right now, I'm sure. But
and Sarah, the oil on troubled waters. How are you today?
I'm very well. I don't understand what's going on with LinkedIn. Why are you all cross with LinkedIn?
It's fine with me. I love it. It's brilliant.
What's the problem? Put the comments in the chat.
It's fine. No, it's just it's silliness. Don't worry. Anyway, moving
And
on.
how is dear John today?
Do you know what? Absolutely buzzing off my head. Really excited. I don't know why.
In case you hadn't
BBC
noticed, everybody.
On the BBC this morning, first thing, they rang me and said, could you do 10 o'clock? And I said, ever so sorry, I've got another broadcasting commitment at 10. The BBC then shuffled their schedule to get me on at 9 so that I could do this at 10. That's how influential the EV Cafe News is. And
how does the BBC not know, though?
Well,
how did they not know the 10 o'clock news is on?
Imbeciles. Morons.
They know now.
Anyway.
They know now.
Grab a cuppa and plug in, and let's find out what's happening in clean transport this week. And coming up, a warning that the UK must prepare for 2 degrees C of warming by 2050. The government has explicitly been told for the first time. Renewables have overtaken coal as the world's biggest source of electricity. A new £1.5 million electric vehicle training centre opens, a welcome resource to close the skills gap. And Paul, stand by, brace yourself. Item 4, the electric van transition looks doomed to failure without a new approach.
We're all doomed.
We're doomed. Who says we'll find out soon. And we may have a cheeky fifth story if we've got time, or if you want to stay behind for a bonus feature. But first, the EV Cafe Commercial Club, where we highlight innovation and new things in our industry with new music. First up, that was well worth waiting for.
The commercial club. I miss it.
Well,
the commercial club from the EV Cafe.
Innovation applauded.
There we go. If you like the original or you like the new, let us know in the comments. Let's start a bun fight anyway.
Which is best?
Producer Joe, get them both working.
Oh, now.
What, half and half?
Oh dear.
We could do that. Now, let's crack on. Commercial clap. Formula E. And they have been doing this power boost thing. I don't know if you've ever watched a Formula E race, but you can get a 10% battery charge in 30 seconds through a power boost. And apparently they're now saying that this technology will be available commercially on the streets within 5 years. Fabulous. Look forward to that. Duracell are building a national network of ultra-fast EV chargers, which is fabulous and so logical. You know, big battery, just sitting there. I mean, come on, why wouldn't you do that? Brilliant brand extension.
I hate to break it to you, that's not a big battery, that's just a charger with stickers on it.
Oh. Yeah, kind of got that. Anyway, and The electric HGV trial. Well, I was going to do a piece of news about EV trucks, but now you've jumped in and stamped on my fire, Sam. I'm not going to do it.
I'm just wondering, back on the Duracell one, what happens if you stick your tongue on it?
Find
Please
out.
find out.
Give it a go. No,
Oh, man,
really delighted that the EHGV trials have passed 500,000 zero-emission miles. Anybody thinks that electric trucks can't work, have a check-up from the neck up, because that is outstanding. Congratulations, Sam, all the people involved in all of the trials across the UK. Electric trucks coming your way, and they are bringing goodies. Shall we get on the news? Already here. They're not just on the way. Well, they are on the way because they're like a truck and they go places. So they are on the way, but they're on the way. Anyway, now the news. Britain must prepare for at least 2 degrees C of warming within just 25 years. The government has been advised by its top climate advisors. That limit is hotter and sooner than most of the previous official advice. It sounds like Paul, actually, hotter and sooner. Anyway, and it's worse than the 1.5 sea level most of the world has been trying to stick to. Under the 2015 Paris Agreement, countries agreed to try to limit warming to well below 2 degrees C. But with global average temperatures already nearing 1.4 degrees C, warnings that we may have blown our chances of staying at less than 1.5 have been growing. Though the change from 1.5 to 2 degrees may sound small, the difference in impacts could be substantial. Committee on Climate Change advisor Professor Richard Betts told us it would mean twice as many people at risk of flooding in some areas, and in southern England 10 times as many days with a very high risk of wildfires. And we've seen what happens in America when the wildfires take hold. That is a scary prospect. Sarah, public policy has always been a part of your world. Are we doing enough to mitigate? Clearly we've got major challenges, and I just get the sense that business is holding off on big projects. They're not investing in the way that they could. Do we need to do much more?
It really baffles me. We held our Partners' Day at the AA, and we had Richard Allen, who is Liz Allen's husband, came and gave a fantastic talk about the facts, the history, the science, the direction of travel, everything that we're being told, everything businesses are being told, every single rule that we've been told to apply. And yet that number's gone from 1.5 to 2. If that isn't a loud enough signal, I'm not sure where else policy is going to take us without some massive sticks.
Massive challenges, but people are going to die, Sam. This is the bottom line. If we don't sort this out, lives will be lost.
Lives will be lost, land will be lost, people's livelihoods will be lost. There's all manner of different things. And the thing I wanted to point out was, because there was on the commercial clap, the things about the technology evolving in Formula E, that if anyone saw in the news that there's a heat warning for the next Formula One race. So it was a huge amount of irony for me that they're now developing technology to try and cool the drivers down because it's too hot outside to drive the cars around. Like, how many more triggers do we need to appreciate that it's too hot out there, and we've got to find ways of solving this crisis?
He's right, you know. He is right. Pablo, thoughts?
Well, do you know what? What sticks in my mind is a speech from, I think it was the Prime Minister of Barbados, Barbadian Prime Minister, who talked about the loss to the world of the rising water in particular, and that she said that part of her country would be lost, certain islands in the Maldives, and you know, potentially many other islands would be affected. I mean, we'll lose certain bits of the coast, Norfolk and Suffolk. I mean, I know it's not a big loss, but you know, hey.
Matt Ling might disagree.
Oh, he might need to move. Matt, you need to move inland, mate. But on a serious note, there is, you know, people's lives will be affected, and you know, and countries will be lost. So it is really important that we double down on this.
Yeah, sometimes it feels, because we are funner, that we're kind of a bit frivolous about this. This matters. This is why we do this stuff. This is why you do this stuff. And we've all got to run in the same direction. We haven't got time to be hanging around. We've got to get this stuff done, because if we don't, Oh, it's going to be a catastrophe. Anyway, let's move on. We've got shout-outs to get done. Sam, you can switch off for about half a minute. As we start with the quite wonderful Steve Warts, who kicked the door in at 7:09 this morning from Economy Trucks. Bless you. James, Screenwash King, he was in second at 7:58 for a Fab Friday, and it's half term next week, which I know parents must really love. Yeah, Sarah, look at that look from Sarah. And I suspect, Sam, do public schools, private schools, whatever it is you call them in England, do they have time off, or does the nanny look after them and it's all fine?
All the time. So much time off.
They get more. The more you pay, the more holiday they get. It's outrageous.
It's not right, is it? Pay them to take off our hands. Walk away.
Good to see that Daryl Sharp's kids aren't off next week. It's the week after. And it's his birthday.
It's his birthday.
Yeah, 47th birthday. Daryl, many happy returns and all that stuff. Great to see Stuart Humphrey last week at Everything Electric. Great hug, thank you. And I love what you're doing with your hair, Flower. Now then, Dev Chakravarti, he is struggling. Man flu. He's on his deathbed. I asked our producer if we could get the funeral march. Seemed a little too much.
Just call in the priest. He'll be fine.
Ian Mayhew is off to Valencia. How wonderful. And he's a solid 10. Good lad. Ian Mayhew sends best love to DEV Chakravarti. Peter Lever. He's here this morning from Cloudy Bolton. Oh, Gary Comerford. Isn't he just the best hug?
Yes,
There's not
he
much
is
of
the
him. There's not much of him, but he does give good
Oh, he
hugs.
could give a good hug, though.
He does.
Yes.
Speaking of which, Ron Godfrey's here as well. He's having coffee. Dave Sebuyera. Now that's a name haven't seen before. Welcome. Good to have you here.
Yeah, we have.
Have we?
I think so. Hi,
Oh,
I
sorry.
think so.
The mind that is a computer.
Indeed.
Remembers. From LinkedIn, good to see you here this morning. Craig Stark also here. Thank you. Paul Shearer Barnfather. Hello. Gemma Robinson, our guest on the webinar on Wednesday.
Didn't
Catch
she
it
do
up.
a great job?
Oh,
Amazing.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Tell you what, she's just a force of nature, that one. Mark Main, great to have you here. Thank you for your comments this morning. And then Madame La Bonbon, Lulu O'Hagan, she's in the house. Belinda Guy, can I just say, seen your post on LinkedIn about your redundancy from Fuse. We're all gutted for you, but know that you are up for great things. Don't know quite how you're
One door
coping.
shut, another one
Another slams in your face. Yeah,
For the great
absolutely
people.
right. Rachel Lewis, also been through that same thing with Compleo. Good morning, Ben McDonald. Hello to you. Jamie Fretwell, he's been through it, but he's back. Good to see you. Bob Murphy in Scotland. Thank you for being here, my wonderful friend. Michael Barton. Oh, he's in Bristol, I know these things. Now then, who else we got? Sarah Sloan,
Leo.
get out. Leo Pigford. Lucy Albury. Good to have you in the house. Like berries. Except Johnny Berry, of course. And I love him. Now then, we got a LinkedIn user. Could it be? It is. It's Behave. He's got fabulous teeth. Ashley Bannister. Ash, good morning, sir. Ashley was your Sunday name, obviously. Great to have you here. Love you
Leon
lots.
Gomez.
Genuinely. Leon.
Good use.
Leon.
Good use of the capital V in everyone as well, Ash. I like that. Well played.
He's very clever. Look at that.
See?
There we go.
George
He's a clever
Thurman's
boy.
here. John Dixon's here. Oh, George, can I just say, I saw you at Everything Electric, and you are changed. If ever there was an advert for the NHS and a double hip replacement, it is George Thurman. Ursula Perry's in the house as well from Greenfleet. Good gracious, they're all smashing the doors in. Love you lots. Hug you, squeeze you. Let's move on. Renewable energy overtook coal as the world's leading source of electricity in the first half of this year. A historic first, according to new data from the global energy think tank Ember. That's funny, isn't it? That you burn stuff to get an ember, but this is about coal. Anyway, electricity demand is growing around the world, but the growth in solar and wind was so strong it met 100% of the extra electricity demand, even helping drive a slight decline in coal and gas use. However, Ember says the headlines mask a mixed global picture. Developing countries, especially China, led the clean energy charge, but richer nations, including the US and EU, not sure we're a nation, but okay, relied more more than before on planet-warming fossil fuels for electricity generation. This divide is likely to get more pronounced. According to the separate report from the International Energy Agency, it predicts renewables will grow much less strongly than forecast in the US. No Sherlock, as a result of the policies of President Donald Trump's administration. Let's go to Paul first. Oh, DT. Donald Trump. I mean, what a well. Anyway, but this is really, really key, isn't it? For the first time, we've got global electricity generation from renewables exceeding that from fossil fuels. Brilliant, brilliant thing.
It is great news, and we see some fabulous examples. One with our own AW Energy, with some onshore wind generation directly into vehicles and into local neighbourhoods and things like that. What we're seeing is this transition, and Muppets, because we had our own Muppet for a very short period of time, like Donald Trump. What was her name? Oh,
somebody
Liz,
you couldn't
somebody
trust,
or another.
Paula
Somebody,
Kirby,
Liz you can't trust. Yeah, and she was an absolute Muppet. Oh, they're all a blot on the landscape. They're all going to do. I mean, honestly, they need lining up and giving a good slap. You know, Australia has one of the cheapest costs of energy across the world, and it's all done with solar power, right? So renewable energy is much more effective and cost effective than big coal-fired power stations. Much more easy to do. I mean, how long is it going to take to build, you know, nuclear power stations and other things like that? It takes years and years and years and years and years and billions, and we can stick a few solar panels up for a drop in the ocean. Anyway, there we go.
The EV Café would like to point out that giving someone a slap is not a recognised way of dealing with.
Metaphorical, of course. I'm a wuss. I'm a lover, not a fighter.
Now, Sam, you're a big user of renewable energy in GridServe. It's critical that we hook up the energy generation, energy storage, and energy use. This ecosystem of electrification matters.
Yeah, 100% user of renewable energy, actually, not just a big user, which is obviously very important. I think for me, this article means that more fool them, the US and others that are just not moving as quickly. They will suffer the consequences because their resources will get more and more expensive as the demand for those resources that are no longer being required because we're all using renewable energy in the rest of the world. So not a good story for those areas. However, they will learn and they will miss the boat, and the opportunity is there for everybody else to make use of this renewable energy. It's a good start. It's a good news story, but it's not enough. We've got to go faster, harder, more. Being just proportionally slightly more than coal, not enough. That needs to be an absolute minimum amount now. So we've got to march on from here.
I am going to clip out that little "we've got to move faster, harder, and more" from Sam. That is the soundbite of the news this week. Sarah, would you agree?
I'm actually really enjoying Michael Barton's, but what about their shareholders comment? Because unfortunately, a lot of this is driven by that. I like to bring this back to the lens of the local people, and my topical barometer is telling me that the energy conversation is just not getting through to those who are not as clued up in the industry as others. Because I had a message the other day, yet again, saying we're never going to have enough energy to power all these electric cars without our coal-fired power stations. I'm like, we've been phasing those out for 25 years, guys. Don't worry about it. It's called transition, not production. So we just do. I'm glad you've included it in the news. Thank you for making it so easy for everyone to understand. Renewable is the only way.
Can I just add a little comment? So Dev Chakravarty mentioned yesterday senior people at EDF on Octopus blaming renewables for high energy prices. And I do remember a post, I think, by Dan Caesar, maybe, or somebody somebody calling out Greg Jackson. In fact, it was Vince, what's his chops from Eco, what they're called.
Dale Vince?
That's it, Dale Vince. That's the chappie. He was calling out Greg Jackson for, I don't know. Yeah, just stick with me. Be patient. But it's interesting that even people with similar aims and goals are beginning to kind of get a little bit confused about this issue. So it obviously needs some sort of thought and clarity, to clear it up and help us all move forward in alignment.
And let's be honest, if you want thought and clarity, the EV Café News is the place to be.
As long as I've got other people around me.
Now then, I have to say, I loved Belinda Guy's comment. I never thought I'd see anybody describe an electric vehicle charger as cute. But the Duracell ones,
Wow.
yeah.
Belinda needs to get in touch then with EVN because they're all over that amazing project. They would be very, 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 very proud to have Belinda, I'm sure. Get in touch.
10:20 and we've got to crack on. A new electric vehicle training centre has opened with bosses saying that they want to train up the next generation of green mechanics. New College Swindon launched the £1.5 million EV training centre in partnership with local garages. Secretary of State for Transport and Swindon South MP Heidi Alexander, a former student at the college, opened the facility and said it will help train the next generation of workers in Swindon. The Independent Garage Association has projected the UK could face a shortfall of EV technicians. External of more than 29,000 shortfall by 2035 as production of EV vehicles outstrips the qualified workforce. About 10 courses will run at the centre, allowing students to qualify for a number of EV roles, and students will study electric vehicle training levels 1 to 4, which includes diagnostics as well as autonomous vehicles. Sarah, long champion of closing the skill gap, you must be thrilled.
I am so glad you came to me first. Thank you. And that's my old college too. So I am beyond delighted to see them doing this. And do you know what? It completely passed me by. I didn't know it was a thing. I think it's a really good stake in the ground to show other local authorities how to support their colleges and the future youth. Because I was also in the London Underground and there was a huge poster as you went down the escalator with a picture of an electric car plug thing, and it was saying, could you fix this? And I just thought, we're finally tapping into that gap. And I just, please, everybody, do whatever you can to inspire those around you about your job, talk about how great this industry is, because that will just drip feed into people's brains and people want to be like you.
Can I just ask, Sarah, did you have elocution lessons after you left Swindon?
Absolutely not. Very proud of my upbringing. I went to college in Swindon, school in Purton, and that's near Cirencester, should anybody wish to know.
And still sounds like a princess. How is this possible? It's just quite wonderful. Anyway, let's move on because I've got two stories. 10:22. With year-to-date sales of new electric vans falling substantially short of government targets, a new approach is needed for the market. That's according to Fleet Check, which expects sales figures for electric vans to stay well below official targets. New electric van registrations rose 41% year on year in September, the most ever recorded in a single month. But, you know, they've still got to find a negative story somewhere despite record sales. So, with year-on-year to date battery electric van volumes now standing at 22,000 units, up 56%, they represent just 9% of all new registrations, well below the 16% share mandated for 2025. Paul, vans, it continues to be a proverbial pain in the posterior. What is it that we need to do to help people to understand the value that electric vans can bring to business?
Well, I think Peter, I have a lot of respect for. He is passionate about the van sector and is doing a lot to help the sector.
And that's Peter Golding from Fleet Check. He's the CEO, isn't he?
He's the CEO of this and the author of this article. And I think it's important to reflect on the fact that he is really calling out government to have a plan B, not just to kind of... And we say, we don't need government intervention, we need industry and all that kind of stuff. But they have been sitting on the 4.25 tonne legislation all year. They kind of dropped a few silly little bits in the middle of the year, which helped, but left the major obstacles in place. They are not helping enough, and there needs to be a plan B. It's like, and I was talking to somebody yesterday, it's like they've moved on to the truck market and forgotten entirely about the van market because, we've got bigger fish to fry. Well, those bigger fish, it's good to do, but they do only represent...
What is it? Fish. Fried fish?
Fish.
Fried fish. Fresh.
Fried fish.
They represent. Carry on.
Anywho, but we have 5 million. We've broken 5 million vans on the road. So with 5 million vans on the road, that is a lot of CO2, that is a lot of traffic, and it is considerably more miles per vehicle than cars, not as many as trucks. Trucks obviously are very important, and there is a big challenge there. But to forget vans and leave them in the middle and just kind of go, oh, well, let's maybe chuck a couple of quid more at it, it's not going to work. And we've got a lot of areas that need a lot of thought. And Peter's absolutely right to call for a plan B and to recognise that we are not at the targets laid out, not even close, and we are not making the progress that we need to make. So he's right.
I can see Sam is like Usain Bolt in the blocks, ready for the off. Go!
The thing that's bothering me is nothing to do with electric vans, actually. What's bothering me is this, and I'm going to use an Ocado phrase, immediacy of their customers' requirements. Getting everything in 3 hours. I order it 10 a.m. and I get it by 3. That's why we've got so many bloody vans on the road. I would far rather at this point in time, concurrently see regulation that prevents us from having this luxury that no one really needs. And if you want it, spend a fortune on it. But there's too much immediacy in our lives that we don't need. And it's proliferating the number of vans on the road, all running around individually, causing huge amounts of emissions. So whether that be diesel or electric, there's too many vehicles on the road because we're getting too many choices in the way that we have things delivered. And I can't even begin to imagine how much CO2 we could save if we all just had to not adhere to this immediacy mentality that we seem to have been sold.
Yeah. Occasionally I agree with Sam, and I'm in.
So I agree in principle. However, it is only 11% of the market, so it is a tiny element of the market, and ironically, probably the most decarbonised area of the market. So with the mix of cargo bikes and local transport, but Tesco, Sainsbury's, Ocado less so, Morrison's, Amazon, DHL, DPD, all leading the way in electrification. So it's the easiest area to decarbonise. And I do, Sam, I agree with you. I agree there is a cultural thing where we need to kind of stop demanding things tomorrow. But it is a small area of the market. And also it's probably one of the most decarbonised areas of the market.
Yeah, but it's also one of the most prevalent in terms of people's association, particularly in groceries. And they're doing great things, but they've made their entire logistics team disparate. Whereas if they just had one van that was delivering things like it used to, then you wouldn't need all of that, and the emissions overall would be lower, I think. So that's the fear I've got. Maybe the disparate nature.
Jamie Fretwell, he's got a bone to pick with you, Sam. Please stop thinking that vans are just carrying stuff around. Tradespeople, builders, plumbers, electricians, and we found that at the installer show, Paul, didn't we? They don't give us stuff about their vans. It's just a thing to do a job. Chuck some tools in it, get to the job, crack on. Anyway, I've got one more final story. Go on, Paul. Go on. If it's adding value. No? You sure? Right, because this is brilliant. Cardiff may impose SUV parking premiums, so motorists who drive SUVs, sports utility vehicles, or other large vehicles could be charged more to park in Cardiff if changes to parking permits are approved. A surcharge would be introduced for motorists with oversized and highly polluting vehicles, said the council. A decision will be made by Cardiff Council on Thursday, but the cost of permits would be decided at a later date. Now then, what this means is anything above 2.4 tonnes, irrespective of whether it's electric or ICE, will pay more for their parking permit. And I think this is brilliant thought leadership, Sarah, in that we've got 60% of new vehicles are SUVs.
I think that
stats.
2.4 tonnes is quite a good differentiator as well. I think that's a really interesting piece. I initially screwed my face up because I thought, oh God, please don't let this be about the weight of the vehicle crushing car parks, because we know that EVs are pretty comparable to their equivalent internal combustion. But you've got to hand it to it's the EV Rally of Wales next week, by which time we'll have this news in our hands, whether they've passed it or not. But you've got to hand it to the Welsh Government. They are very good at designing new ways to get around the problem. So if this passes there's a chance it'll pass elsewhere, and that will really impact people's decision and buying making for the next round of cars that people want.
Absolutely, and we're likely to end up with cleaner air, more space on the roads, less congestion. Smaller cars do less damage when they hit you, so ideally we'll have less deaths, less broken bits. there are really positive things for doing this, and something I heard of this morning was car spreading. So as cars get bigger, car park spaces aren't big enough, and so they're taking 1.5 or 2 spaces to protect their little babies. Fascinating area. Great debate on that one was had on the BBC this morning. Now then, if you've got any clean transport, PR or news stories you'd like us to cover, please send them to us at hello@evcafe.org. Great news this morning, chaps. Thank you so much, all of you.
Thank you so much.
Sarah, Sam, Paul, but most of all, the comments have gone off the scale. People have been brilliant in the audience today. Thank you so much for that. This has been an EV Café production. Other sustainability news services are available, but as all the other news services say, this one is just fun! The EV Café is truly blessed to be partnered with the AA Webfleet, Europcar, Iveco, Schneider Electric, EV Blocks, AW Energy, CPD Bodies and True Charge. We are the EV Café, supporting the transition to clean transport with Drax electric vehicles, showing us the love. Enjoy the rest of your day and your weekend wherever it takes you. Stay safe, stay well, and stay healthy if you can. Till next Friday. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Fun